Boss Rush 780 day 6. So today is a fairly easy day, but not super farmable, as we do have a leftover bench mercenary on the final boss if we use Artillery Strike. So you get that super buffed enemy you have to deal with like Medivh with a counter rune. Our first boss is Yogg-Saron, and this day is basically going to be the exact same strategy we used on 580 day 1, which was also a Yogg-Saron fight that also had a large bench mercenary to deal with on the last boss. That day also had to deal with another Death Rattle boss, but we don't have to do that today, so I was able to cut Nimsy from the comp that we used on 580. I'll link the 580 day 1 video down in the description if you want to see how we did that the previous time as well, since it's the same strategy. But the comp that we use is Medivh with Unstable Runes, Malchezaar with Parrying Blade, and you do not want 3 moves ahead. It will mess up your Yogg-Saron, so make sure you take that equipment off, so either run Parrying Blade or no equipment. And Khadgar with Bitter Chill, in with Gilnean Strength, and your other Artillery Strike doesn't really matter, so I'm just using Scout Spyglass and Dragon Rune Axe on Voone. I've also got a second comp here. I've been playing around with this Deathwing Destroy All Life Rattlegore combo. So you can see here I've got my Destroy All Life up to 130 damage, which is the same as my Rattlegore HP. So I can start a Destroy All Life chain with a full health Rattlegore. My damage is not quite high enough for it to guaranteed kill the enemies. So sometimes I do have to fight a leftover enemy if I use that on the Yogg-Saron fight today. But I do hope to remedy that soon, as the scaling is very good. I just haven't invested enough in it yet. But for this encounter, I'm using Eudora with Primed Armaments, Arfus with Downward Dog, Rattlegore with Rattling Bones. Equipment on Deathwing doesn't matter, I've just still got the Demon Soul on here from the Kazakus encounter, Unstable Runes on Medivh, and Gilnean Strength on Genn. And the reason I'm using Eudora here is it gives us an opportunity to maybe make it through the fight with the second Artillery Strike alive. A lot of times Eudora does still die on turn 1, but if she doesn't, then on turn 2 you can Covering Fire to bounce Eudora out of the way before doing your Destroy All Life combo with Rattlegore and Deathwing. Another option that you could use here is Diablo, and then you can get an Apocalypse cast to guarantee crits on Yogg-Saron if Diablo survives turn 1. Usually you need the right hand add to not use a melee attack on turn 1 for that to happen, and then the red add will kill Arfus, and then your Diablo will survive and be able to shoot at Yogg-Saron with Apocalypse. But yeah, let me just jump into it here with the Medivh Malchezaar comp to start with, since that's the normal comp. And it's also, this one has better Artillery Strike God, so this is the better comp. The other one's just kind of for fun to play around with the new toys. So there is some ability RNG you have to deal with on this encounter that's unavoidable, because Yogg-Saron has two of Yogg-Saron's summons are not actually abilities, so they can't trigger all realities from Malchezaar. So you have to wait until Yogg-Saron actually casts the Draconid Rush ability. So you can see here this Spawn of N'Zoth has that silver metallic border around it, where other abilities have this golden border. So all these ones that have the silver metallic border are summons. They don't count as abilities. They don't trigger counter rune. They also don't trigger all realities. So once we do cast all realities, we have to wait until Yogg-Saron uses an actual ability, and the only one that Yogg-Saron has is the Draconid Rush. So on turn 1 here, we're looking for an opportunity to get our Hearthfire off. Unfortunately, I don't have enough hit points to survive a swing from this Hogger on my Khadgar. And this guy has very high attack. So on turn 1 here, I'm not going to be able to block both of these hits to get my Hearthfire off, so I'm going to have to Blizzard, which is unfortunate. With your Check Your Weapons here, don't use Check Your Weapons if it's going to hit the green. I know it's tempting to shrink the green's attack, but you just want to create as few of those spawns from this passive as possible, because we're trying to not get wheel spins from Yogg-Saron. But I'm going to go ahead and root this turn since we're not able to do our Hearthfire. And I'm going to get my hit points up on my Arcane Ward here. Actually, so because I got such a high attack anomaly on Mukla here, I might end up having to get hit by Hogger. And I would be able to survive that if I health buff Khadgar. So I think I'm going to health buff Khadgar and hope that that works out next turn. The thing I would usually do is health buff my Arcane Ward, and then next turn when I taunt the Arcane Ward to tank a hit, it'll have enough hit points, but it's going to get one shot anyway because Mukla's so big with this attack anomaly. So I'm going to maybe hope to make it through with Khadgar health buff instead. But the best outcome is that Khadgar just uses the 2-speed taunt instead, and then you don't have this green swing coming in here. You can just taunt your Arcane Ward to tank Mukla's swing, and then Khadgar can just get that Hearthfire off on turn 1. Okay, so we got all the attacks coming in here, so we are going to have to tank this hit here, and I have to hope that doesn't kill my Malchezaar, unfortunately. But I'm going to taunt my counter rune. Just get some free damage there on Mukla, and then try to get my Hearthfire off. So if I get killed here, I'm just going to have to restart. My Malchezaar is just a tiny bit too small to survive that hit, but hopefully he tries to kill somebody else. Okay, he tried to kill Medivh. Okay, so now that we're on turn 3, we really want Yogg-Saron to cast Reconnect Rush as soon as possible. He didn't cast it this turn, so I'm going to have to delay here. But now we do have our root spam available. So I'm going to put damage here into Mukla. Because we don't want extra spawn, so I don't want to shoot that extra Arcane Surge with the Nova at Khadgar. And I could get birds out. So at this point, we're probably going to get a wheel spin. You can beat this with no wheel spins if you get lucky on the early ability usage, and then this happens to cast Reconnect Rush right away, and you just get to all realities very early. But we'll probably end up getting a wheel spin now. So I'm going to go ahead and get a Raven out here, since that might soak some of the bad wheel spin outcomes. And we just have to wait on our all realities. Oh, I just noticed this after I hit go, but they didn't melee attack, either of them, this turn. So I could have not rooted this turn and avoided an extra spawn here. So I could have just cast like a Hearthfire or something instead. So I probably should have done that, but it is what it is. Okay, still no Reconnect Rush, which is unfortunate. I'm going to try to get my Medivh's health back up a bit. We're going to do damage to Mukla here. We don't care about doing damage to Yogg because we plan to all realities, and we don't want to hit Khadgar and create more spawns, so I'm just shooting Mukla. And we have to root because we have 2 melee attacks coming in. Okay, here's our wheel spin. We have to just hope for a good outcome. I'm gonna eat something. I hope it's the bird. Okay, that's why we made the bird. Okay, so hopefully we can get a Reconnect Rush before we have to deal with another wheel spin. Now the other thing about the Reconnect Rush is if Mukla uses a 3-speed attack on the same turn that you get a Reconnect Rush, it can get in the way of your all realities. So fortunately that didn't happen. So we do have the Reconnect Rush happening before all these other abilities here. This 2-speed attack is going to happen before the all realities cast, so we're safe there. So this will hit Reconnect Rush, and then we want to just root, and we'll make another bird here. So we don't have anything slow enough to kill Yogg-Saron after that 6-speed shrinks his hit points. So we're just going to kill him next turn. Alright, so 3 left on the activation, so this thing dying won't be a problem. Sometimes you do want to use like a 2-speed attack from Khadgar or something to ensure that this dies before one of these ads dies, and then you get another activation of the wheel spin. But I don't have to worry about it here. So I'm just going to Blizzard, and then these guys will be rooted, Yogg will die, and then I'm just going to do some damage to Mukla here, I guess. And then it should be fine to cast Check Your Weapons as well. So now we're going to want to kill off our Malchezaar and our Khadgar. Okay, so there is a taunt in the way, but it acts at 2 speed, and everything here would kill it when it swings. So I'm just going to make a bird here, and then we're going to swing with our Malchezaar here, I guess. And then we'll root and shoot some damage at Mukla. If I'd swung at Mukla, it would have killed my Malchezaar off already, but I'm not in a rush to get Malchezaar killed. So we can get some extra crit damage here. Speed it up a bit. And our birds are going to be able to kill our Khadgar very easily. So I guess I'll shoot... I don't want to shoot at Augur here, because it'll make a new spawn, and I want my Malchezaar to swing and die here. So I don't want him to hit the newly created taunt. And then I'm going to Blizzard, and then I'm going to shoot some damage at my Khadgar here. Okay, I'm just going to bring Genn out here. You have to be a little bit careful that he's going to cause heal activations, but these guys act at odd speed typically, so not a big deal. Alright, so we'll just shoot at... I'll just shoot at Khadgar. I actually don't want to make a summon yet. So this Blizzard is going to do... He's going to take 68 damage, and then we'll do 100 Blizzard. And then I'll go ahead and kill off Khadgar now, I think. So that should be enough. And then we should be good to shoot here. And I don't want to make a summon yet. Alright, doesn't really matter who I bring out here. I guess I'll bring out Voone, since Rogers could get crit, but we're never going to get an action out of Hogger here. And it doesn't really matter what order we do this stuff in. Okay, so we got Medivh and 3 artillery strikes, so we're just hoping to hit at least 1 artillery strike here. And then we should be all set. Aluneth is also really nice. Hit on Medivh. And we missed there. None of this really matters. Alright, well we missed. So I can't continue. Alright, I'm just going to run it back here, so we'll get to see the fight an additional time. So you have at least a 50% chance, even if Medivh is one of the mercenaries, to hit that artillery strike, and then if you hit 2 artillery strike mercenaries, in 75% chance. Alright, so the green is the highest attack this time, so I'm not going to use check your weapons because I don't want to create additional spawns there. They're also all melee attacking on turn 1, so I'm going to Blizzard. And because they're lower attack this time, I'm going to buff hit points on my Arcane Ward instead this time. Okay, so next turn we're just hoping we don't have too many melee attacks coming in. They don't kill us. We do have two melee attacks coming in again, so Yogg is going to swing first, and then Khadgar second, and plus these summons here. That should be okay. So I'm going to taunt my Arcane Ward. You also can use your check your weapons if it does help you survive. I'm going to go ahead and do that because we did make it to the second turn. He's going to create a bunch of extra spawns and stuff with this Reconnect Rush. So I might as well shrink this Khadgar just to make it less dangerous now that we're already filling the board anyway. And that'll also keep our Arcane Ward alive. Did my... I guess someone else was higher attack? Oh, this guy ended up higher attack because he swung first. Alright, well we didn't get to shrink him anyway, so whatever. So he was spamming Reconnect Rush and now he stopped right when I wanted him to cast it. So we've got a delay again here. I can spam check your weapons now because Mookla's higher attack. And we're just going to shoot there and get a bird out. Maybe mitigate some of those wheel spin outcomes. So at this point we're just stalling with Blizzard while waiting for a Reconnect Rush that we can all realities on. And hopefully Mookla does not use a 3-speed ability on the same turn. Okay, we did get a Reconnect Rush and no 3-speed there. So we should be all set for our all realities. Khadgar never gets in the way because he only has 2 and 7 speed. So it either happens before or after the all realities, and these are fast enough that they don't get in the way either. So here, I guess I'll just taunt the bird and shoot at him. And then we'll do a Blizzard as well to stop these melee attacks from coming through. The reason I'm taunting the bird is if there's a wheel spin, I could have figured out if that was going to happen, but the reason to taunt the bird is some of the wheel spin outcomes, they cause the, like, random do something fun thing to happen, and some of those outcomes involve melee swings, so if you can taunt something that you don't care about dying, then it's beneficial for those melee swings to hit that taunt instead of your actual mercenaries. Alright, so all this stuff is going to happen. So we're going to get hit for 213. That should be fine. I'm just going to cast that Archmage Nova there, and since all this stuff will happen first, I'm just going to put some hit points on my Medivh afterwards. Since he's the only one I care about surviving here, we're going to want to kill these other ones off anyway. Okay, so Yogg's out of the way, and we have infinite roots for these. I'm gonna bring out Genn here. So we do still want to kill Khadgar off. So let's get a bird out here and work on Mookla. And even though I'll have to do a little extra damage to Khadgar, we got birds, so I'm going to go ahead and just make a taunt now. Alright, so I guess I'll get a crit here, and this one does more damage, so we'll get that crit there, and we'll shoot our Khadgar now. I'm going to delay killing Khadgar for a bit because we have to work on this HP here. So let's just Blizzard, and we're just going to shoot all this stuff here. And I think next turn we can probably kill Khadgar, because these are already ramped quite a bit, so it's going to do a lot of damage to Hogger. It might have been good to finish off Mukla just to not have to sit through all those extra animations. Alright, so I'm going to do an Archmage Nova here. And then, let's see, this should... Yeah, this one's enough to kill Khadgar. And then we'll make a new bird. And then we'll shoot the rest of this stuff over at their side. Alright, now just doing the final cleanup here. Alright, second try. See if we can get some artillery strike this time. That's unlucky. Alright, got it. So I would like to hit a reroll on my Medivh and get Aluneth just to speed up the last fight, but we're fine even if we don't hit that. None of this stuff really matters. Same with there. All the damage is going to be from birds on the last fight, so I'm not really concerned about any of those other treasures. They don't really do anything for us. Oh, we got the reroll, but we didn't hit the right treasure. Guess I'll just take this, but none of them really do anything. We're going to end up killing off. Let's see, I do have an artillery strike there, so I can change this one if I want to, but it doesn't really do much. So we're just going to run Medivh, and then we're going to kill off the other mercenaries we bring out. I'll just use these two. And I'll position my counter rune over there. So here we're just acting at 6 speed, because this guy just uses Command Demon and the Burning Blade Portal or whatever, that 5 speed summon a bunch of imps, like fill the board with imps thing. So you can act with your 6 speed stuff with these guys if you want, or you can just ignore them and only do stuff with Medivh and your birds. Because these guys don't really do very much damage. But if you want, you can act with them. Just don't do anything 5 speed or faster, just everything 6 speed and slower, and never activate your counter runes attack. So yeah, the Burning Blade Portal here's the other thing that he does. So we never get to actually use our 5 speed with Medivh or anything. Spamming 6 speeds, very similar to the Meta encounter. Except we kill off all of our mercenaries that aren't birds or Medivh. So you can start softening these guys up with your 6 feet attacks if you want to. I'm going to do that a tiny bit because we're not super ramped yet. By the time we kill Genn, we probably will be ramped. Alright, so we do want to kill someone this turn so we can get another bird out. So let's go here and here. And you can act with Rogers first if you want. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I have the healing equipment. I don't want to heal Rogers. And then we're going to summon a bird after that. I could have gotten a bit more ramp if I had killed Rogers with Genn and then summoned a bird and then shot with a bird afterwards, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so we're getting a lot of ramp now. And I'm going to shoot there first, and we get another bird this turn, so let's kill Genn off. So 220 plus another 220. Is that enough? $444 is actually not enough. Yeah, it's going to be 444, so I do have to shoot here. Yeah, that'll be fine. I should have probably softened him up with one of those weaker attacks earlier, but it doesn't really matter. It's just small differences of like 100 damage or 200 damage. And we're talking about 50,000 HP, so... Alright, now we're just spamming all these 6 feet attacks. And that's it. If you have Aluneth, you can still cast your bird summon ability to activate Aluneth for more arcane damage. But since I don't have that treasure, doing this summon here doesn't do anything. So I'm just shooting with the birds. And obviously the higher level your birds are, the faster this is going to go. When I had Aluneth on my previous run, it took me, I don't know, like 20 turns or something. But once they get ramped, it starts going really fast. Whether you have Aluneth or not. I think around the time they get to like, I think I had like 1500 damage per shot when he died with Aluneth, so I'm not sure where it lands with the regular version, but it's around that. So coming up on 4,000 damage per turn here, pretty soon. That's another like 8 to 10 turns, something like that, I think, from this point. Maybe a bit less. So the other comp that I was playing around with Deathwing, it works pretty well. It's not ideal since you do have Rattlegore that stays alive, and it's harder to have artillery strikes, but it is a good example of how that comp is able to do almost any fight. So it's basically, if you have a better option, you can use that, and if you don't, you can always fall back on the Deathwing Rattlegore comp. It seems it's going to be able to consistently kill the vast majority of bosses. So it gives you sort of a minimum farmable status to almost every bounty. It's never going to compete with, you know, full artillery strike comps after the boss dies, there, where you like kill the boss in 2 or 3 turns with Malchezaar or something. But for everything else, it's pretty solid. Alright, and this should about wrap it up. Maybe one more turn? Yeah, one more. So that's day 6 with the Medivh comp. Collect our 195 renown here. Make sure you've set your slider up and you're getting... You got credit to raise your boss rush level. So here for the Deathwing comp, I'll just quickly show it again. We've got the primed armaments, downward dog, rattling bones, equipment doesn't matter here, unstable runes, and the Gilnean strength. So I don't think there's really any RNG with this comp either. But it does have that investment requirement for Deathwing, Destroy All Life. So I've positioned like this with Eudora on the left because I don't want cannons shooting at Khadgar and creating extra summons. So I'm getting 3 melee attacks, which is not looking good for Eudora's survival rate. Guess I'll just make a cannon and shift those over there. Arfus is almost certainly going to die. You could swing with Arfus to ensure the death. I'm going to just do some damage to Yogg-Saron here. We're hoping Eudora lives, but probably won't. Sometimes they do target cannons, and sometimes they might have all targeted Arfus, and then these swings might be random targeted. So you can increase the odds of those random targeted hits potentially hitting like the cannon. Alright, so I guess if they both get killed, then this doesn't end up working, because I'm going to have to let one of these guys die. So when I did this previously, I didn't have the attack from Yogg-Saron, and it's uncommon for you to get a triple melee attack, but unfortunately if that happens, I guess there is RNG after all. You would need to be able to like survive that hit from Yogg-Saron or have them target the cannon or something, because you need only one of them. You need either Eudora or Arfus to die on turn 1, but not both. Let's try it again here. And obviously it's much better if Eudora survives. I guess moving them to the left doesn't really matter. So we have 2 attacks coming in here, so this should work out, I think. They might swing Mukla into Eudora and Khadgar into Arfus, which would not be good. But previously, when I did this, the Khadgar actually attacked the cannon, and Mukla hit Eudora. So let's see what happens this time. I hope that Mukla hits Arfus, and then Khadgar hits the cannon. Nope, he went for Eudora, but they did go for the cannon, so this will work. We just don't get the 2 artillery strikes at the end. Okay, so all these guys are slower, so we're just going to kill off our Arfus here and do a bit of extra damage to Yogg-Saron and then activate Destroy All Life. So this will slow them before they get to act, and then Deathwing still acts before them. So now it just does the combo here. Now I don't actually have enough damage to guarantee a kill on Yogg-Saron, but this causes a whole bunch of wheel spins to happen. So there's a chance that Yogg-Saron ends up blowing himself up. So most likely that's just going to kill this. But it's going to take a bit of animation time. But yeah, one of the wheel spin outcomes, it does like the do something fun, I think. And then it like detonates one of his own mercenaries or units. And then deals AoE damage to your team based on its stats or something like that. So sometimes he can just kill himself off. A lot of times, though, what this will end up with is just Yogg-Saron alive. I'm going to go ahead and just restart the client, though, so I don't have to sit through all these animations. So let me just relaunch it here. Okay, so yeah, this is a normal outcome here. And now we have Medivh with the counter rune to put Yogg-Saron behind. Let me turn this deck tracker back on. Alright, so this is not an ability. So this isn't like a perfect Arcane Ward setup. I'm just going to summon a bird, though. And I do have to counter myself because this won't activate the counter ward. And I'm going to get a summon out here. Actually, he's low enough. Could try to kill him before he gets to act. So let's see, if I transform him, I'll do 57 and then I'll do 168 next turn. I'm not going to have enough damage to kill him right away, so I'm going to go ahead and get the summon out here. Since that spawn of N'Zoth is going to cause problems with the being able to just counter a Draconid Rush. Okay, apparently he cast Twilight Extinction during the wheel spins, and I was not aware of that. So I died. Alright, RNG, fun, I guess. And there's a shadow anomaly because, yeah. Alright, well, just don't get unlucky like that and the comp works. Let's give it one more shot here. I did not have this kind of RNG trouble when I was running this before recording. At least the attempts are quick, since it's like a turn 2 play. And I'll restart the client quicker this time, instead of sitting through some of those animations. Alright, so we're only getting the one melee swing this time. It's probably going to kill Eudora, it might kill Arfus. So I don't think I want to swing with Arfus, though. But we'll just make a cannon and shoot there. I don't think he ever just swings at the cannon. But I guess that's a possibility. Oh, perfect. Okay, so now we get to save our Eudora. The positioning shouldn't really matter. Alright, so we can just bounce our Eudora out of the way. We'll do some extra damage to Yogg-Saron here, and we will destroy all life. Alright, so I guess we're still at the mercy of something that persists after this not happening from the wheel spins here, but I'm going to go ahead and restart the client to skip this stuff. We'll see what the first wheel does. So yeah, this is the thing that can end up detonating his own mercenaries. Okay, so he put himself down to 17 HP, so he's going to die on the next activation now. So we might be fighting a super buffed 2-speed attacker summon here at the end. I'll just sit through the animations here, because as long as you're not having to wait through the wheel spin animations, this doesn't really take super long. It's only like 2 or 3 times as long as restarting the client. So it'll be like a minute and a half or 2 minutes of animations instead of something crazy with all the wheel spins. And this will get much faster when Khadgar dies here after a couple more activations from the crits, since it won't be spawning all this junk every turn and making the Mukla animation trigger. Alright, so a few more activations here. Just getting through Rattlegore's HP. We are going to be left with this buffed minion here, but that should be fine. He's, I believe, 2-speed, and then we're going to have the counter rune in play. Alright, yeah, so 2-speed. So that'll just get countered every turn, and we'll get some birds out here. Let me just kill off this cannon. It's kind of useless. So we're just gonna use birds and act slower. And if I had enough ranks in my Destroy All Life and hit points on my Rattlegore, it would have killed this as well. And it actually doesn't take that much more to get enough damage to do that and not have to fight this here. I just don't have that yet. I could summon another bird here, but this guy's already really low hit points, so I'm just going to go with a 1 bird, get the crit here. Alright, so Rattlegore's going to be back to life, so we do only have 2 artillery strikes and 2 non-artillery strikes, and we need to hit one. Either Cursed Blade or Bowl of Bones is probably the choice. And we didn't hit artillery strike, so I'm not going to be able to finish this run, but that is how you can, one of the ways you can beat it with the Deathwing comp. You just have to hit that artillery strike then. So, the farm for this week, I believe the best one is still the day 2 with the Deathwing comp. So that's this comp here. I showed it in yesterday's video, the day 5, 780 day 5 video, but it's this Arfus Downward Dog, Rattlegore Rattling Bones, Jaina with Ice Block, Deathwing with whatever. I'm using Demon Soul. and then I've got Voone with Dragon Rune Axe and Genn with Blood Moon. And that's just in case Kazakus lives, those two deal the most damage. But in my case, I've got my Destroy All Life to do enough damage now that it always kills them. I'll go ahead and do a run with it real quick before I stop the video. But I showed this yesterday as well, so this is the same thing that I did at the end of the video yesterday. I do think this is probably the fastest farm for this week. So with this comp, you just start out with Arfus, Rattlegore, Jaina, and we just pass on turn 1. And then turn 2, we play Deathwing and cast Destroy All Life, and that's it. So we only perform 1 action total, other than passing turn. Alright, so Destroy All Life in turn. And then this will kill them, so let me just restart the client here. And since the fight's over with, it's going to put you back at the main menu, so you do have to go back into Mercenaries to collect your treasures. It doesn't take too long, it's still a great farm. So missed there on the artillery strike. And missed again. So this was a failed run, but that's the gist of it. 2 turn runs, and then a client restart. And collect your renown. Good luck on your runs.